easier. You know, you'll be saving your tear-offs, and you know, it makes it easier on you. So, and it looks like Romano out with the whole shot.
We'll double check it, but the Stacy Cole shot probably is. It looks like his gear for sure. That number 41 machine, and it is Nick Romano right in front of us. In tow, though, looks like the 36 Evan Stice. Evan not having the greatest of first motos, a 16th place finish, but wow, what a comeback for him right now. What an answer and an opportunity to improve his standing going into that third moto. The number 40 also into the mix right now. That's Gage Linville, who finished second in moto number 1. So we've got our two contenders running first and second right now early in this one. Now that could be a good thing or a bad thing for those guys. Get caught up in an early battle, maybe get a little contact going on. These guys have to focus and race forward right now. There comes Linville round to the outside. Romano, we saw having some issues the other day, made a couple mental mistakes. Look at the recovery right there by Linville. Linville drifted that thing through like a flat track machine, able to bring it back underneath of him and remount the charge after Romano as they bring themselves through the beach. Oh, here's what we're talking about on those early laps. You can't have this happen, Brad. What's that result in right there?
Yeah, that's going to be a tough moto. They're going to have to get up and set a charge and get going towards the front. That's always tough.
Lane Allison involved there on the 53 machine. Now the heart rate's pumping, lots of positions given up. Really tough to get that mental state back and get focused.
Looks like Romano and Linville are already pulling a little gap up front, going back and forth. They're really serious about this title.
Yeah, that's going to be bad news for the rest of the pack. One of two things happens when you get this kind of battle going on. They either push each other forward or they slow each other down. They hinder each other. But in this case right here, I don't think we're going to see any contact. I just think we're going to see wide open throttles. Wow, look at Linville riding that rear wheel on the rear fender of that Yamaha, trying to get that traction. It's blue on blue right now as we watch Romano open up a little bit of a gap. Holy cow, Esper, did you see him on that rear fender right there?
Yeah, he was wheeling through the bumps, really finessing the bike through that section. Looked awesome.
Almost like a manual, but just floating the front wheel through there. A great technique. Romano looking extremely strong through the 10 Commandments. But look at this pack of riders right behind. We got Brad West, Talon Hawkins, Evan Stice, Benjamin Garib in that 6th spot, Dax Bennett riding in 7th, and look who it is, GT Money in that number 8 spot, Marcelo Leodorico riding in 9th, and Preston Blowsfuck in the top 10. Holy cow, man. This thing's going to get heated here in that 2nd through 10th position as our leaders just continually start to pull away. Next time around, going to get a closer look at some lap times, going to get an accurate lap time. That's going to start telling the tale of the tape. As we move in, with just about 16 and a half minutes left, when we start comparing those lap times, of course, only on lap number 1, when we start comparing those lap times, you're going to see a pattern. You're going to see some of these guys that are starting to work their way through that really have that advantage, or some guys that are just going to get mired back there, Bradley. What kind of feeling is that when you're in that 13th, 14th place, there's bikes in front of you, bikes behind you, you're eating roost? How tough is it to really focus forward? Because you're always concerned with what's behind you, and we know the idea is race forward.
Yeah, it can be really frustrating, you know, knowing that you're faster than the guys ahead of you and knowing that you need to work your way up to the front. You know, you can get a face full of roost and get some dirt in your eyes, and, you know, that can mess up your whole moto. And it's really important to get out front, and being back in the pack with those guys is really tough.
Yeah, it's always easier to get it done from the front, and look right now trying to get it done. There comes Gage Linville again. Drop back a couple bike lengths. He has hit the reset button. He's mounting a new charge. And again, Romano giving that Yamaha everything it's got. You know, Donnie Lutz has got his eye on these two guys right now. Proud of this blue crew out front leading this 250B race. Now opposite lines right there. You see Romano going inside, Linville going outside. Linville crosses every time through the 10 Commandments. He enters the 10 Commandments wide, crosses through midway, and tries to enter that right-hander to the inside. Is he giving up any time that way? Is he making the track shorter? I just can't tell.
Yeah, it looks like he's hitting that outside right there and jumping through the 10 Commandments a little bit more. Looks like he's running in the outside here in Storyland right now.
And trying to keep that momentum up. So he's been riding the outsides primarily, and Romano riding defensively, protecting those insides. Whoa, jumps into that third rut right there. Looks like Linville tried to go the inside for the first time. It almost worked for him. Back through the beach. Bikes are bouncing around right now. And look at this. One more time, Linville on the attack. Just keeps setting him up. Lets him have a couple bike links breathing room. And here comes Linville again. Back around the Polysport pond right in front of us. Bradley going to be critical as the final turn down here, this final left-hander, we call it the Bermuda Triangle. As it gets deeper and rougher, that thing's going to kind of come into play for some finishes, isn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That turn is always super spongy. You almost have to have the gas on the whole way through, and if you hit the brakes at all, it kind of just throws you over the front end. So it's really important in that turn to be consistent and really hit your mark.
Hey, we're going to make an important announcement right now. This is the second time. We had a medium-sized border collie type pup that was found female running around on the road near Area 3. Now, she does not have a collar. She does not have any ID. So if you are missing your medium-sized border collie type puppy female, found near Area 3, she is at the office right now, and she's in great hands. Got a black Nissan Sentra behind the Racer TV truck. Black Nissan Sentra, license plate DPJ 139, must move. It is behind the Racer TV truck. Black Nissan Sentra, license plate DPJ 139.
Looks like Linville and Romano are getting pretty close here going into Storyland.
Linville again keeps working those outsides, Bradley. He's, if you go the well enough times, you're going to get a drink sooner or later, and keeps coming up dry right now. Romano taking the pressure, taking the heat, because Linville has laid some moves on him. He's shown him the front wheel. He's over-revved the bike a couple times. Romano's fully aware. He's got the pit board. He knows exactly who it is, but I am impressed with the young man's ability to hold up to the pressure and respond right now. So one more time down into those big rutted corners as they enter the front of the track one more time, Bradley. Look at this. Down to the inside this time goes Linville.
Oh, this is an awesome battle right now. And it looks like Linville up on the inside. Romano's going to hold him off going into the finish line.
Romano able to shut him down one more time. Good call, Bradley. He come right to the inside. So right when you think that Linville's using those outsides exclusively, he changes it up, brings it to the inside, but that crafty Romano able to pick up on it and shut him down one more time.
Yeah, that's just from years of experience. You can just feel him behind you almost. It's awesome.
It's that sixth sense, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's the racer feeling.
Exactly. And again, look at Romano's ability to respond. In only a couple corners, we're looking at 8 bike links right there. Linville, though, strong, up and over the bars, elbows up again. Now watch the technique. Starts outside, and as he works his way through, knows the preferred line to that right-hander's on the inside. Pretty crafty move right there for sure. So he keeps the momentum up around that outside, but yet he's able to shorten the lap by going inside in the next corner.
Yeah, he's keeping his momentum up on that outside, and it's really helping him out. It looks like he's actually pulling a couple bike lengths every lap.
But Romano again able to respond. A little further back, look now, Talon Hawkins putting himself into that number 3 spot. Look who's in 4th now. GT Money coming through the pack. Gavin Towers on the number 15 machine. Preston Boslug still in the number 5 spot, while Dax Bennett moves up into the 6th position. Marcelo Leodorico now in 7th. Patrick Murphy rides in 8th. Evan Stice in 9th. Avery Long has the 10th position. Caden Braswell in 11th. Brad West in 12th. Brock Walker in the 13th position. Miles Happy Gilmore in that number 14 ride. And Brock Bennett rounding out our top 15 in our 250B. And look at this race that we have going around this final sand turn here, leading down into the daggone Bermuda Triangle. Look at these guys.
Just when we thought Linville was going to pass Romano stretches it back out. He responds really well.
Absolutely. And you talk that racer sense, that sixth sense. That's instinct. That's learned. That's experience. You called it a minute ago. And, a lot of times without even thinking, muscle memory, the body takes over. They feel it, and it's just go time. You instantly pick up the pace. But what you have to be careful of now, I'm going to guess, Bradley, don't cross the line. Don't push too hard to make that pass. We still have that other Moto, 2-1-1-2. We're pretty good going in. It can happen either way, right?
Yeah, exactly. They don't want to push too hard and make contact and risk both their motos going bad. So they got to be consistent, maybe not push as hard, and focus on that third moto.
There's not one single moto that can win it for you alone, but one single moto can take you out of the game instantly, and it's so hard to preach to the young riders.
It is.
Exactly.
And that brings me to my next question. How hard is it not to cross that line? I mean, because when you're here, you're riding that line. How hard is it not to actually cross that line when you're here?
Yeah, it's tough because your adrenaline can be going, and you really want to pass that guy ahead of you, but you kind of have to back it down a little bit sometimes, and really pace yourself and focus on what's important.
And that's where the psychology of this all, I mean, you've got to be mentally prepared as much as you are physically prepared coming into this.
Exactly. It's really important to be mentally prepared. Motocross is super mental, and people don't realize that sometimes. And, if you have a good outlook on a race, you can go out there and do really well. It's mentally, you can do a lot. So
yeah, and you see people overcome a lot of things mentally, and that's amazing that they're able to do that. 250B class right now on the track, 5 laps down. Romano just nearly matching his fastest lap of the Moto on lap 2 at a 155.936. He now increases his lead to 2.9, just under 3 seconds over Gage Linville. Talon Hawkins is about another 10 seconds back, and then Towers is inching up ever so slightly. He's got about a second faster lap time that last time around. He's now within 4.3 seconds. The only thing is, Towers is running out of time. If his conditioning's a little sharper than what Talon's is, and he can ride mistake-free, he might be able to bridge this gap.
Yeah, that's exactly what we were expecting. That's what we were looking for. But race management, time management might be against him right now for sure, and really going to have to maybe hang it out there, maybe cross that line a little bit to close that gap. Going to be critical, absolutely critical for Towers to get up there, and get every single point he can. That podium helps for sure right now, but just going to make his job a little harder going into Moto number 3. 7.5 minutes on the race clock, 6 laps in right now.
Wow. Remember what I said about Talon Hawkins and those riders trying to ride mistake-free. Hawkins making a big mistake. He drops all the way back to 5th at 2:17 lap time. Towers popped off a 1:59.3. He's now within 16 seconds of second, but most importantly, a 7-second cushion now in 3rd place, over 4th place now. Preston base plug.
Yeah, definitely gives him a little bit of breathing room right now. Can focus, like we said, not have to cross the line now to maintain that 3rd position, but absolutely critical for Gavin Towers to do what he did, finish on the podium here in Moto 2. That's absolutely critical to keep his chances alive.
And again, it comes down to riding mistake-free for all these riders up front. Romano has now increased his lead to just over 4 seconds as he turned to 156 that time. Gage Linville, 157. Towers in that 159 range. Base plug a 2:09, just under the 2:01. There is Romano. He's getting real comfortable now, also getting in some lap traffic. His lap time drops down to a 1:58, and Gage Linville nearly matches that. They go 1:58.063 to 1:58.036. So not a lot shaved off, but there was a little shaved off on that time. So now the time is 4.029 at separate. So 4 seconds separating 1st and 2nd.
Rodney, keep the camera shot on Towers right here. He's basically riding in no man's land right now, picking through 1 or 2 lappers, but he has the ability to take the race line. He can take any line he wants right now. He's not eating roost. He's got the ability to breathe a little bit, Bradley, so maybe he can do some work here. But look up front. When Rodney said that a second ago, 2 laps ago, Linville and Romano a second apart, maybe 5 or 6 bike lengths. Now Romano really in the late stages here, able to pick it up just a bit. 4 seconds is the gap right now, and let me tell you, 4 seconds can seem like a lifetime at Loretta Lynn's, huh, Bradley?
Yeah, exactly. It looks like he's really trying to push and maybe break Linville's spirit a little bit and get up front. So,
and let me tell you, a little mind game like that, on one end it's the confidence for Romano, on the other end it could be a mental defeat for Linville, that's for sure, going into that 3rd moto.
Well, I'll tell you, looking at Moto 1 scores, interestingly, and we've seen it a couple times, but we haven't seen it a lot. But this first, second, and third we're looking at right now is exactly the way they finished in Moto number 1. So as of right now, things have basically fallen right into the flow, the natural flow of things of what you would expect with seeing the results from Moto number 1. But again, we've got about 5 minutes of racing left to go, and there's a number of things that can happen here at Loretta Lynn's. And Bradley, I'm sure that you're one of those riders that can attest to something just exactly like that. When things seem to be going their best, then all of a sudden, things can change really fast.
Yeah, exactly. The last 5 minutes, all these guys are tired. It's 90-some degrees out here at times. So, you're hot and tired towards the end of the moto. Some stuff can sneak up on you, and the last 5 minutes can be really tough. So.
Well, I tell you, it was a rather cool morning this morning. We've had a rather cool week, but as we expected, as the week went on and the racing heated up, we were going to see some temperatures heat up. I noticed a little more humidity in the air this morning than what we've seen in recent mornings, at least in the last hour or so. So it's getting warm out there. We might start to see the heat become a little bit more of a factor as we roll through this second moto and head into Moto number 3. There is Towers back on screen now with us, turning a 1:58. He is now still right around that 17-second mark away from Gage Linville in second place. So not a lot of time being made up there. He's holding pretty steady. Well, now 8.7 seconds ahead of Bose Plug as he turned a 2:01. Not a bad time for him. Hawkins is back on pace, but he's still about 11 seconds back, and he's holding in solid in the number 5 spot. I've been watching Marcelo Leo DeRico as well, so he's made a few gains up. He was just inside the top 10 when I stepped in. He's up to a 6th place position now as he's been battling and working his way to that spot. Ooh. Trouble here. Is this our leaders? What we got going on? No leaders.
A little action down there behind the billboard right now. A couple riders coming together, not affecting Romano or Linville for sure. They had made their way through already. 2-lap board is out now, so it is go time. This one coming down to the critical stages, Bradley.
Yeah, here 2 laps to go. These guys they got it all on the line here in the second moto. They got to set themselves up good for the third moto. So got to hold it together for these last 2 laps and, stay consistent.
We're even going to start talking about terms like recovery and stuff. A lot of these guys, most of these guys ride in 2 classes. We talk about them being the fittest athletes in the amateur world. Without question, they are. But still, when you're matching the best against the best against the best, it's just that little percentage, that little 1 or 2%, whether it's performance of the bike, mental performance, physical performance, can make all the difference going into lap or moto number 3 because these guys are so evenly matched.
Yeah, these guys are all training hard at home, and it sometimes comes down to who trains a little bit harder or has all 3 things put together. They have to be mentally fit, physically fit, and have to get a good start. So.
And I tell you have to manage that equipment down here. We've seen some bikes smoking a little bit this week. Engines get hot. You over rev a little bit sometimes in the deep sand. Float that valve. All of a sudden, the bike's making some noises and this and that. So when we talk about survival, there's just so many aspects to it. You mentioned the first 3 key pieces: mental, the mental training, the physical training, the preparation. Forget one little part of the program and leave one of the little pieces out, and you can throw that finish out the window. Everything's so critical to being successful.
Yeah, exactly. It's really important in motocross. You really have to put everything together and be consistent.
All right, looks like we should be, let me see, is that going to be the white flag this time? Romano makes his way through. There comes Linville as well. See him coming into the picture. Romano through the Bermuda Triangle for the last time, I believe. Yeah, Romano out on the final lap. White flag is waving, going to be 1 to go. And I have to tell you, Bradley Esper, super impressed with the ability for Romano to just gather it up, remain cool under fire. The guy was cool, calm, and collected. To be honest, he looks really fresh to us as he came by here. You don't see the bike moving around a lot. You don't see the elbows dropping. You don't see the body position changing. He looks the same as he did on lap number 2.
Yeah, he's flowing really good right now. Linville was right on him on the first couple laps, but he really gathered it together and stretched the gap back out. So he's looking good right now. It looks like we got a lapper down in the 10 Commandments here.
Yeah, not exactly sure who that was. Looks like the first KTM on our score scene is Dax Bennett. Don't have an idea on who that was, so be curious to see if we can get an identification for you here in just a moment. The number 16 machine stalled down there in the middle of the course. That's a bad place to be sitting. That's Miles Gilmore. He got a 17th in the first moto. And now the 72 machine, that must have been the rider that went down in the 10 Commandments. That was Devin Marr out of Turin, New York. And in moto number 1, he had a 41st place, so not the best of weeks right here for the Marr machine. Looking for our leaders. There he is. That's the 41 machine, Nick Romano. Romano less than a half a lap to go, coming out of Bayside, New York. And Bradley, I got to tell you, super impressed by all these guys out here today. The attack by Linville. It was relentless. He brought it and brought it. I almost have to believe, too, that he's playing the long game right now. He's thinking about the end moto. He's thinking about the third moto. Not saying that is the case. Tower, so impressed with him. Not getting the greatest of starts. Talon Hawkins bringing that thing back up into a top 5 position. So with the checkered flag out, this one is truly going to be set for a true battle in this Moto number 3 coming up later this week. But right now, Nick Romano with the win. Gage Linville coming across that line in second place. Looking for the number 15, GT Money, Gavin Towers. And look at Romano. Brings that bike almost to a stop. Look at our flagger on the move right there. I tell you what, great job by her. Before she thought he was down, before he even come to a stop, she had that flag going. Fantastic job. But able to gather it back up. And that's that Bermuda Triangle for you, Esper. Okay, buddy? Yeah. We get down in there, anything, you can disappear in there. We saw that in the Pro National last year. Things got so deep and steep down in there. Here's our finishing order as it plays out. Romano, Linville, Gavin Towers in third. Preston Boslug out of Battleground Washington with that 4th place. Talon Hawkins coming out Temecula with that number 5 ride. Marcelo Leodorico in the 6th spot. Brock Bennett with the 7th. Patrick Murphy in 8th. Dax Bennett coming out of Morganton, North Carolina with the 9th. And Evan Stice rounding out our top 10. Going to see these guys in just a moment setting that bike up down there. The number 41 machine of Romano is going to put it on the stand. Going to get the pictures, the class picture, the medal picture is going to be ready. Rodney Tomlin going to bring us all the action from the podium here in just a moment. Coming up next, going to be Junior 25 Plus. Junior 25 Plus. That's race number 14 coming up next. Behind them in staging your 450C. First call for our women's class, race number 16.
Well, Megawatt, I don't know if you're noticing, it's taking a little longer for these guys to get up to podium in the second motos here on this Thursday. And though it's not necessarily dog days hot yet, it is starting to get a little warmer out here this morning than previous mornings and days. So I believe that these riders are having a little more energy drained from them than what we've seen in those first couple motos. So again, as the week progresses, it's going to get really interesting as to how this is all going to break down. We're waiting on Nick Romano to make his way back up here to the podium. I know he went over to cool down and grab a cold drink there, but if we can get Nick over here, we'll go ahead and get underway with podium presentations. And of course, congratulations to Nick on a great Moto 1. He got the STACYC Stability Hole Shot Award as well, and the Stability Cycle Hole Shot Award. And of course, we'll be talking with Nick. He's making his way over, I'm sure. All right, he's coming. So, yeah, folks, big day here in Tennessee. Gage comes on over. He goes, I thought Nick had already been here. I was like, man, that don't look like Nick. Nick's changed an awful lot since the last time I saw him. But like I said, this heat, I think, really starting to take a little bit more of a toll on these riders than what I had earlier in the week. Not saying that that's what is giving Nick any problems, but it sure is keeping him from being too much faster than what he would under normal circumstances. Taking some congratulations over there, of course, as he makes his way up. Well, Nick, getting hot out here, no doubt about that, as we give you this well-deserved and earned gold medal here. And with that, like I said, wow, getting a little warmer, a little hotter out here today, so a good win for you. Let's talk a little bit about this one today.
Yeah, sorry, I was struggling over there in the tent, but
Is it the heat?
no, it's not the heat. My mom took my jersey and walked a mile away, so I couldn't find it. But yeah, no, that was a good moto. Finally got off to a whole shot. I was looking for that. Past 2 starts haven't been good, but yeah, ripped the whole shot. My starts in Yamaha Dunlop tire FMF machine was barking out there. Drew and I and Derek got the suspension working good, and the bike's just awesome right now. So yeah, it was a good moto, whole shot, led all the laps. Yeah, really strong. Broke second place, and yeah, third my own race.
No doubt, man. Good to see you up here. I know the long road to get to this particular spot in your career was certainly well-deserved and well-earned where you are right now, buddy. As you say congratulations to you on a Moto 1 win and the Stay 6 Stability Cycle Whole Shot Award for Nick Romano, ladies and gentlemen. Nick, who do you want to say thanks to, buddy?
My mom, dad, sisters, Monster Energy Sourcing, Yamaha, my mechanic Dalton, my trainer Gareth Swanepoel, Derek, Drew, Seth, the whole team working hard. Bell helmets, 100% goggles, Store gear, Alpine Star boots, CTI, FMF, Dunlop tires, Rhino Power, Ethica, Pro Taper, and everyone else forgot. Thank you.
There you go, Nick Romano, your Moto 2 winner. He goes 1-1 here in the first 2 motos of this 250B class. All right, here we go. We're going to go to silver and second place here. Put your hands together for Gage Linville. All righty, Gage, as you make your way up, man, I know you're eager to get through this one. But, man, great consistency for you so far. 2-2 going into Moto number 3. That's pretty good for Loretta Lynn's, man.
Yeah, we're setting pretty good. Just got to work on a couple things for this next moto.
Tell me a little bit about this second moto that you ran.
Yeah, I got off to a third place start. I passed for second, and I tried to put some pressure on Nick. I made a couple mistakes halfway, and he just got away, and it was just them.
All righty, man. Who do you want to say thanks to?
The good Lord for keeping me safe, my mom and dad, the whole NSA Yamaha team, MTF, Monster Army, my mechanic Jake, Dunlop, Moose, Atlas, Bell, Dunlop, and just everybody else. Thank you.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Gage Linville taking the silver here and second in Moto 2. He's looking at a 2-2 as far as this championship is concerned, and third place going to and this bronze medal to the number 15. Put your hands together for Gavin Towers. I'll tell you, Gavin really working to get into that spot. Gavin, you had your work cut out for you, but you had 2 good, consistent motos so far here this week.
Yeah, pretty consistent, but not the consistency I was really looking for. My first couple laps were pretty terrible, honestly, so pretty frustrated with those, but it's a step in the right direction from yesterday. Yesterday was not me out there, so I'm just stoked to rebound from that, but that's not what I was looking for, so hopefully come out swinging the Moto 2 of Schoolboy 2 and Moto 3 of 250B.
All right, man, we wish you well. Who do you want to say thanks to?
I'd like to thank my mom, my dad, my sister Cindy, the whole Monster Energy team, Green Pro Circuit, Kawasaki. It's been a crazy year on the West Coast, so that's where we've been training. I've been training with Ivan Tedesco and Darren Stockton off my bike, so it's been good. So just the whole Pro Circuit, we made a little adjustment from yesterday, 100 times better, so I got to thank Matt and Luke from over there. Dunlop for getting me off the start because it was a lot better start than we had in Moto 1, so I can't complain about that. And DBK, Twitch over there, Ethica, Alpine Stars, Canvas, Ryan Villapoto, Michael Lieb. They've been giving me my sweet gear, so I'm pretty stoked on that. Scott Gall was keeping my vision clear out there. Bell Helmet, Monster Energy, Nixon, Mike over there, Dave, everybody, they've been helping me out at Monster, so can't thank them enough. Mobius knee braces, and just literally everybody else who I forgot. Thank you so much.
There you go. Gavin Towers, ladies and gentlemen, taking third in the 250B.